Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gio, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to read through The Dark, Chapter 15. East Dome, Hydroponics, Ian. After we got back to East Dome, changed from our vac suits to regular clothes, and walked into the vast jungle of hydroponics, Emilio walked over, his graying dreadlocks flying free around his head, and his mouth as flat as I had ever seen. In an instant, he held Rias in one gigantic bear hug. "Next time you're out there, tell Zacharias me and my wife said hi," he said. "You're not mad?" Rias said. "How long have I known you? I expected you to go AWOL last week," Emilio said. "But you do have a lot of people mad at you for that stunt, least of whom is Carla. I had to talk her out of sending security after you." "It's been weeks since I've talked to my dad," Rias said. I know. Now, Ian, you two get something to eat and get Rias to medical. Then I want you both at CNC. Ian, you can tell Rias why when you get a minute," Emilio said. But he didn't let Rias go. "Just remember, I might not be your dad, but I'm still your godfather. Come talk to me, and we'll sort everything out." A grav lifter headed this way. Whoever drove it drove fast and stopped hard in front of us. The emotion had left my lover, leaving Rias drained, hollow, and gray as the concrete in North Dome. Worrying about Rias left me numb and a little bit angry. If I ever found out who shot the Adeshachar down, the first punch would be for Robinson. The second would be for the Adeshachar. Then I would get as many hits as I could to make up for what was done to Rias. I took a shallow breath, forced it out, and eased my shoulders down. Rias had internalized every painful word Perlita had said from yesterday's meeting, and the poison had simmered inside him. The man that saved me was far more vulnerable than I expected. I had to protect him. Damn Perlita. Hector too. Do they even have a compassionate bone in their bodies? I said. Emilio wouldn't let Rias go, but held him tight. Emilio looked at me. "You leave Perlita to me. Nuestra has already dealt with Hector. His little outburst in North Dome atmospherics went through the domes in 2 minutes. Hector's not very popular right now. Carla already laid into him. You're picking on a half-dead man who saved lives." "I know you're angry, Ian. So am I. But use that anger to find the drone. We must know what's out there." My jaw clenched as I said, "Yes, sir." "Good. Now get Rias to medical, and I want both of you at CNC in an hour," Emilio said, and finally let go of Rias. "You'll be fine, Rias. We take care of our own, and that's both you and Ian. Welcome to Nuestra, Ian. You've become one of us." I guess I had a home again. My other one was smashed on the plains. "Don't worry, sir. I'll take care of Rias. We'll see you in an hour." Doc had driven the grav lifter and climbed out, jaw set tight and eyebrows lowered. Emilio passed Doc and said a couple of words, and walked through the jungle of hydroponics. "Climb on, Rias," Doc ordered. We climbed aboard and headed to the tram station. "Rias, how could you be so stupid?" Doc yelled. "I had just realigned the nanite colonies in your bones, and what do? Do you go back to your apartment like a normal person and take it easy?" "I'm sorry, Doc," Rias said. "Maybe get some sleep while the nanites keep you alive. Maybe lounge in the food court or go to a park. No, you report to work. Have a wild argument with Hector. Fix the worst thing Perlita could find. And humiliate Hector in the process. That's all everyone can talk about. Then you wander to salvage and the crematorium gardens in the middle of night mode." "Sorry, Doc," Rias said. "Wasn't one dose of radiation enough? Didn't you collapse yesterday? Do you realize how fragile your condition is? Did you forget that you are still critical? Why did I ever let you leave medical? Doc said, driving faster. Sorry, Doc. I kind of left on my own, Rias said. Don't sorry me, Doc said. I'm turning you over to Elias because I will yell at you for the rest of the day. My blood pressure doesn't need that, and neither do you. I'm really sorry, Rias said. Ian, find something to tie Rias down before I sedate him, Doc said. Some days I want to put you both into a coma so I can sleep nights. Sorry, Doc, both Rias and I said at the same time. I think everyone in the 5 Domes knew about Rias leaving the 5 Domes, and by now they must have heard what he said to his dad. And they knew Rias and I were in a relationship. Good old Nuestra, gossip capital of the Bentley-Thwaite arm. As we left the lifter at medical, Rafaela ran up to Rias and gave him a hug. You made me worry so bad that I almost jumped into a suit and went out there myself, except Carla said it was taken care of. Sorry, Rafaela, Rias said. If you do that again, I'm going to put a tattoo of a duck in the middle of your forehead, she said. I had to chuckle, because I bet Rias would have to say sorry a lot today, and he probably had no idea what he did wrong. We walked into medical. Elias was on duty at the main desk. Rias, you are the worst patient in the 5 Domes. Make that the outer colonies. Elias, you handle Rias today. Because if I see him one more time, I'm going to start yelling. I'll take care of all the other patients, Doc yelled. And every 2 minutes, you remind him he's still critical. Rias keeps forgetting that. Sorry, Doc, Rias said. Doc stormed off. Elias laughed while he hooked Rias up to the nanocuff. Well, Doc found anyone else who needed help just so he wouldn't be in the same room as Rias. It didn't matter, though. My boyfriend was asleep in seconds. He was exhausted. I found a cloth, wet it, and cleaned off his face. Then I lay beside him, holding him, loving him. Rias had never told me how much he hurt inside. I think he hurt even more than me. I had lost everything on the outside. My ship, my crew, my friends, even an arm. Rias had lost everything on the inside. No matter what Doc did, Rias was slowly dying. I love you, I whispered. Rias didn't see the beautiful person I saw. The man with enough talent to dream up the impossible and then build it. Look at my arm. He built that out of scrap and old parts. Who cared if he had to have everything lined up? I didn't want him to be scared anymore. If it meant staying by his side for the last few weeks or days of his life, I'd do it. He saved my life. Somehow, I'd save his, or live with him until the end. I loved him. Rias's hair had grown, no longer the stubble of a month ago, but short, a spacer cut. I ran my fingers through it. I'll watch over you. Just sleep, I whispered, and kissed his forehead. Then I pulled him close, and even in his sleep, Rias cuddled into me. I glanced at the monitor above his bed. His heart rate seemed a little slower, and his nanite count was 10% lower. We were losing him. How could such a beautiful, amazing person die so young? Be strong, my love, I whispered, and held him as tight as I could. I'm afraid someday soon I would lose him. I wiped the tears from my eyes. At least Rias was asleep, so he wouldn't see. I don't know how, but I will keep you alive, I said. Datapad, can you make it so Rias's medical profile is constantly updated on my datapad? I said. Done, it said. I stared at the new screen on my datapad and fell asleep to the comforting sound of Rias breathing and the warmth of Rias's body next to mine. It meant he was still alive. I woke as Elias unhooked Rias. I would have preferred a longer time on the cuff, but Emilio called. It's time to get back to work. Rias' datapad beeped. Madre is attempting access to delete files. Should I allow? Not now. Not now. Tell Madre to shut up and mind her own freaking business, I snapped. Understood, the datapad said. Rias roused. What's going on? Your datapad is having an argument with Madre, I said. The datapad will win, Rias said. I kissed him. He'd become too dear to me. Look into it after we get some coffee and you get some food, I said. Rias seemed a little stronger. Maybe getting outside the domes had been good for him. Bad for Doc, Carla, and anyone else, but good for Rias. Maybe that's all that mattered. We walked to the food court, my prosthetic arm around Rias' waist, supporting him. Elias walked with us. Taking a day off, I said. I wish. Doc ordered me to make sure Rias stays out of trouble this time. I'm your new best friend until I see you walk into your apartment. Besides, I want to see the place that drove Perlita crazy, Elias said. That rumor is not true, Rias said. You'll have to prove it to me, Elias said, grinning. A quick bite of spicy omelets and fake sausage and extra-large coffees to go. We took a tram to the Central Dome, where Emilio had authorized a grav lift to carry us to CNC. By the time we arrived, the boost of energy Rias had earlier had faded. Only the caffeine kept Rias upright. He was so tired that I practically carried him. His face was drained of emotion. His eyes drooped. Just remember, I said as we got to the CNC tower, I love you, and your dad and Robinson are playing cards. I hope your dad is good at it. Thanks, Rias said. I don't think I could handle life right now without you. I made Rias look at me. I love you. Let me be your strength, I said, and lightly kissed him. I love you too, he whispered. I held him. He was so weak, so fragile. When I closed my eyes, I imagined Rias would have a little urn in the cremation gardens next to Robinson and Zacharias, his tools lying next to it. A pain tore through my chest, but I tried to keep smiling because I didn't want Rias to see how afraid I was for him. Is this meeting important? Because, Rias, I think you should go back to your apartment and sleep for 8 hours, Elias said. It's important. I've got some scans and logs we need to look at, I said. Rias took my hand in his and perked up. Scans? Did something happen? He said. I nodded and just continued to hold him. We were followed. We sent our copy of the scans ahead. That's what we want to talk about now. And I ordered the datapad to keep a copy of the scans and logs so you can work your magic later tonight. Did they launch a missile or try an attack? Rias asked. We wouldn't be here if they did. Shuttles don't have any defenses. I need you to tell me what that ship was. Though I think we both already know, I said. For the first time since I had gotten back, Rias smiled. Done. But I have a craving for chocolate chip cookies. That's my price. I can handle that. But I was thinking of a different incentive. Tonight, in our apartment, just the two of us. The best beer Nuestra has. We'll dim the lights. I'll carry you over the threshold. We'll make it a very good night. Maybe we'll take care of the scans tomorrow, I whispered, smiled, and kissed him. Let's take it to medical. I'll use my datapad to take over the monitors, Rias said. A small smile emerging. We can't forget your markers. We'll scribble all over everything, I said. Oh, it was so good to see him smile. Doc will get mad at us again, Rias said, and he kissed me. A bittersweet happiness filled me and my eyes teared. If these were Rias's final weeks, I would make sure he enjoyed them. I love you, I whispered. Rias kissed my prosthetic hand and whispered back. Let's boost the sensitivity tonight. We walked into CNC. CNC was a large circular tower in the middle of the dome. On top of CNC was a smaller dome that let whoever was up there monitor all the other domes and run the colony. Rias's huge 2-meter replica of the LRCD Venganza de Dios stood just inside the door. So perfect, so detailed, it could almost be real. The lights on it glowed. The engines had a faint glow, as if it were powering up. "How many pieces did you cut?" I asked. "Over 4,000, not including the base," Rias said. "But I'm prouder of your arm." Rias was a genius who could build anything. I kissed him because I loved him, and I was afraid we wouldn't have many more days left together. We didn't take the lift to the upper levels, but we went to a conference room on the main floor. The walls were a creamy beige, the chairs a deep green, and the table was actually made out of wood. Several wall monitors hung from the walls, with the largest on the far wall. From the center of the ceiling were several crystalline holographic projectors. A lot of people were already here. Most I didn't recognize. Gutierrez, Carla, and Perlita I did. She folded her arms and glared at me. I turned away and pulled a chair out for Rias. "Why didn't you put a hologram projector in your datapad?" I asked. "It made it too heavy and drained the power," Rias said. "Is there anything you haven't tried stuffing into that datapad?" Gutierrez said, taking a seat next to Rias. I took the other side. Elias sat next to me. His datapad was continually reading Rias's condition, just like mine. Rias paused a moment, then said, "As long as it was smaller than the datapad, I think I tried it." Suddenly, arms surrounded Rias. Carla pulled him into a hug. "I'm going to put a leash on you. Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Rias said. "You never could lie," Carla said, and then released Rias. "Ian, Gutierrez, I received your transmissions. I've only gone over the first incursion because that is the one I'm worried about. To have an enemy ship parked outside of Nuestra is giving me nightmares, and I'm not even asleep yet. I've got the techs looking into increasing our scanner range." "Do you want me to look at it?" Rias said. Carla put her hands on her hips and whirled on Rias. "I want you in bed and staying there." "That will never happen," Gutierrez said, hiding a smile. "I told Emilio that he should leave you in medical for the rest of the day," Carla said. "But we need his input on the scans," Emilio said as he walked in. "Carla, let's start with the first scan. Put it up on the main monitor, please." "Before you start, I reserve the right to pull Rias out of the meeting and get him to medical if his stats drop to a certain level," Elias said. I glanced at Perlita, but she remained emotionless. "Agreed," Emilio said. "Madre, have a grav lifter waiting outside CNC and leave it there until further notice." "Acknowledged," Madre said. Carla took a seat next to Gutierrez and shifted through screens on her datapad. "We have a crisis, people," Emilio said. "It looks like our enemies are closer than we think. Carla, put up the first image, and Ian and Gutierrez, tell everybody about your flight." Rias looked at me, eyes wide, and he bit his lip. His hand found mine and held it. Carla made some adjustments on her datapad and frowned. She flipped through screens and made some adjustments, but no image appeared. "Carla?" Emilio said. "We have a problem. All the files, scans, and logs that Ian and Gutierrez sent are gone. Somebody has erased them," Carla said. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for this chapter. I appreciate it. Peace.